Hello everybody, it's the 26th of July today, and the grapevine is growing great guns. It's shooting up this cane really quite nicely. This is one of those timey-wimey videos where I lost some of the footage shot at the beginning, so we'll just go wibbly back to a little bit of footage that I had from earlier in the year. It's the 7th of June today, and the grapevine has finally decided it's going to start clinging up this cane, and it's grown away rather nicely. So I'm hoping, now that it's found its tendrils onto that cane, which seemed to take a long time, kept flopping over, it's going to explode into growth and start fattening up this trunk. And then back to now. There's not really, apologies, we have an aeroplane going over. Right, that's better. It wasn't an aeroplane, it was one of those helicopters from the electricity company that fly along looking for trouble from time to time along the electrical lines around here, and I guess they do it all over. They must do, but they do fly low and they make a heck of a racket. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm not really going to do anything much with this. I'm just going to wrap a small length of wire around these wayward branches that I've tried to persuade words, mouth, work. I've tried to persuade them to grab onto the pole with their tendrils, but the wind catches them and they let go straight away. And all I want to do is fatten this trunk, so I'm just going to wrap a little piece of wire around like that, and hopefully, and they're not flopping about, they can get hold of the cane also, and they won't be in the way, and they won't be flopping over the path and catching hold of me clothes as I walk past and generally being a blooming nuisance. And they'll continue to fatten this trunk. Let me just spin you round so you can see it's got some interesting movement at the base, and I'm hopeful that at some point I will probably chop it at this point and use this as the new leader, but we will see. We'll keep following along this development until something exciting happens, which may make this a long video. So it's the 1st of September, and this grape, which didn't seem to do anything, in fact it seemed to sit and sulk for the longest time, has suddenly, in the last month, it seemed to particularly enjoy that hot weather, has finally decided to climb the length of the cane, which is really nice because that means that it's going to be fattening up and putting on some growth, fattening up this trunk, trunk that it will be, and putting some health and vigour into the plant, so that when I chop it back in the spring, hopefully it'll romp away again. I imagine for it to spent a while putting on some root. Hopefully as the tree fattens up, this horrible little straight piece and weird lump here I can refine and carve. It's it's definitely not the most attractive part of this plant, and I wish now I'd planted it more of a slant, but that can be rectified at a repot, and maybe if that comes up and out and this piece becomes more upright, that'll work quite nicely. As always, I'm going to leave these pieces on, although they're not actually growing from the trunk itself. They appear to be suckers from the root ball. They will be removed in the spring. I'd even try and tear them off then and see if I can tear them off with a bit of root and grow them on. Or conversely, they could possibly be fused with the rest of the plant, which would change that dynamic. Yes, I think that's a definite possibility. And let me put a piece of wire around that now, just loosely, so that they grow in that direction. There isn't enough time in the season to fuse them now, but getting them used to be growing one next to the other will give me a head start come spring. Put this back on the bench, and we'll revisit it one more time before I publish this video. Okay, so it's the 27th of October now, and the grape is beginning to turn, well, all different shades. We've got yellows and we've got oranges and we've got some dark reds, which is nice. It seems to be starting at the bottom and working its way up. The higher up the vine I go, the fresher and greener it has remained. So it's obviously cooler at the bottom or something, I don't know. Hot air rises, all that sort of malarkey. I'm probably talking out of my hat there, but there you go. My future plans for this tree is we have some growth from the base in here, which let's get a quick close-up of that. As always, the bashed and battered can for scale. Hard to say, but it is in fact a full-sized can. And amongst all this growth here, we have several, 1, 2, 3 shoots that have grown up from the base, and I'm going to attempt to wire those in and fuse them, and hopefully that'll give me a nice chunkier base to the trunk at some point. And then what I think I'm going to do is, well, I'm definitely going to cut the whole thing down, but I'm going to leave it till all the leaves have dropped and into the spring, so that the tree can draw the goodness out of the leaves, help set it up for the winter. And I think this piece here will become the new leader. So my immediate plans, well, a little bit of weeding and such. I've got quite a number of weeds that have grown up into the pot. Other than that, I'm going to allow the tree to draw all the energy in from all these leaves back down into the roots to help the tree keep going over the winter, and come spring it's going to get a severe chop. As I say, these will be fused in, I hope, and I believe that this shoot here will become my new leader, and hopefully bring the tree back across in this direction, repositioning the cane, which has fell over with the weight anyway. So yeah, there we have it. This is now my new front. It wasn't the front originally, and I can't remember where I showed that in the earlier parts of this video that I recorded earlier in the year. I should have gone back and looked at it, but I didn't. But yeah, I think this will be my new front. And although it has a red label, I shan't be repotting it necessarily. I can't give you a full 360 because the fence and everything gets in the way and the angle of the tree. But this tree will be back in the spring, and or this vine will be back in the spring, when I will be chopping it down, as they say, building a nice fat chunky trunk is the aim, and you'll be able to get a good 360 when that's done. That's it then for now. Nothing else to do with this tree but put it back on the bench, enjoy the colours and wait for spring. Nothing else to say then except do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, make sure you're subscribed, comment if you will, let me know what you think, and most of all, stay safe everybody.